We seem to be live. I hear myself talking, that's good. How do I edit this text? Okay. I see people are slowly starting to arrive. I don't know if I should just dive in or wait a few minutes for people to show up. Ooh, this was a bug that I ran into not long before I got started. It looks like a null reference of some sort. Trying to call a method on something which probably does not exist. Entity fixed line 620. Which would be this. I may not decide to deal with that right now, or I may. I fixed a lot of the bugs that showed up last time. Although I haven't had as much time to work on this during the week as I would have wanted, so I didn't do too much more than that. Let's see if I can induce the crash. Wind cuts down grass, and all the weird behavior with regrowing incorrectly has been dealt with. I actually got rid of a lot of code, which was just kind of getting in the way of itself. So how is everyone today? There we go, that's the last stage of grass. Oh no. I wanted to get it when it spread to the first clump of grass, because I think that was where the bug appeared when I was doing this morning. I don't want to spend too much time fixing bugs today. That was like all at the last stream, which was kind of lame. Let's see. Fire, spreads, and alright. There was a null reference somewhere, but it's not showing up now, and I'm okay with that. Honestly. So what I need to do is... I don't know if you saw when I ran the game just there, but when I cast a wind spell through the fire, the wind catches fire. It doesn't look very good because the fire is kind of anchored to the wind spell, which is not really what we want. Instead, I'd rather have it like become part of the spell itself instead of the trail of moths appearing to catch fire, because that looks kind of bad. And by that, I'd like to hard code this first and then come up with a general solution. Is the stream chat working? I do not see any yet. Okay. Maybe nobody has just said anything yet. That is fine. If it sounds like I'm cold right now, that's because I am, because I was just outside and it's like 30 degrees. This is where it, this is where it's going to spawn something. I will hard code this first. Okay. First, let me just grab a reference to the duck approves. Hello there, duck. I approve of your username. Greetings, Stefano. My fingers are cold. Need to learn GMS2's functions. It's pretty good. Do you mean specifically like some of the newer additions to GMS2 or just the whole thing in general, like upgrading from 1.4 or something? Composite spells, CS Fire and CS Wind. Hard coding stuff is great until it's not. The newer stuff. Have you been this should be a comment, not a colon. Have you been like looking at 9 slices and stuff? And what else has been added? They've done some things with animation curves, I know, in like 2.3.2, which I have not looked at yet. 2.3 in general. Are you still getting used to that? It's a lot of big changes, naturally. Let's see, first we're going to set that on fire. Don't think that did anything. See if we can print out the names of what it did. I've been wanting to do these wind things for a while, and I keep getting sidetracked by other stuff, which is usually not like a total waste of time because it's always worth fixing bugs as they show up, but it's kind of annoying when you sit down to do one thing and you don't get it done. Okay, that's the wrong object. In fact, I'm a little surprised it didn't just cause an error. Which makes me wonder if this is going to cause an error. Yep, that indeed did cause an error. That's because the variable was scoped to the wrong object. Maybe I should, like, have this as a split window thing. Can I just drag that down there, leave that in the corner, and have GMeta open in most of the screen? Like this? That might be easier than moving between windows. Alright. One of these days, I'm going to, like... Ooh, I think that was actually doing it. Okay, I think that actually did what I wanted. One of these days, I'm going to, like, set up a debug config so that I don't have to sit through the introduction cutscene every single time. I should do that. While this is running, I will see what my artist friend is trying to get my attention for. We're doing web dev because we're trying to maintain a website for this game. I know nothing about web dev, so I'm trying to not look like a fool every time he talks about web dev. Okay, yes, I did see it. That time the it was very fast, but the when it contacted the fire, the wind spell gained fire moths appearing inside it, which is what we want. I can increase the lifespan of these, and also probably make it go faster. So it's going to go 10 tiles and at 2 units per second. Let's see. I should probably actually inform my artist partner and crime friend that I am streaming. Let me just real quick check to see what he wants to get my attention about. Like a responsible person who's able to focus their attention on more than one thing at a time. Imagine that. Okay. Set you on fire. You are now moving very slow. It looks funny. Wait for the fire to spread, and it broke. Okay, this is the invalid reference of some sort, which I was running into earlier. Okay, that's great. Actually, it's not great. But I have some ways to track down where it might be coming from. Let's see, you can go. This is very hard-coded. I will fix it probably by the end of today. Let's see, the wind spell becoming partially fire type does actually make a number of things easier than what I was trying to do before. Let's see. I don't think I'm going to commit this change yet. Instead, I think I'm actually going to undo most of this now that I've seen that it's at least doing what I want it to. Instead, it passes in its spell to the moth spawn as a parameter, and we should be able to like figure out what it looks like from there, I think. But that might get messy if a spell picks up multiple elements over time, and then that would be like a very big problem of scale. The other thing that I was doing where's entity effect spell? We can just save an array of the different things we can emit, and then, for example, I was just in here, but okay. Let's do it down here with the rest of these. Effect dot emissions is going to equal, actually that should be, where did I just go? Array push. What's the composite spell? And then when we catch fire, we can just add the spell data, which it will emit a moth for. Do I have a random element from array? That's handy. Self dot parent dot emissions. Okay. This is just going to make the different moths that can be emitted a list instead of being hard-coded like they were not too long ago. I think I can get rid of this this little note that a fire spell can be set on, that a wind spell can be set on fire. I think it's safe to say I don't need that anymore. There's a lot of places I should be more vigilant about scoping my instance variables where I am not. Is it going to make a difference in how the game functions? Not really, but it will reduce the chances that things go wrong. This should do the same thing as before. Game Maker window looks really weird when it's that narrow. That's one. And this really should be self.emissions because it's variable scope. I kind of feel like this should be not Since this is only being used in the wind spells, I don't really want to put that in there, make it kind of a mess. And then in 3 weeks, I'm going to wonder what it's doing there because it's not used for anything that I know of. And then I'll try and remove it and everything will seem fine. And then when I cast a wind spell into fire, then everything's going to break. Card organization in Game Maker is better than it used to be, but it's still kind of a mess. And there we can indeed see, it looks like when the fire spell gets to the end, like the water or something, it breaks. I'll have to look into that later. I can undo these changes. Can gain fire. Let's see if I can get a screenshot of that running at normal spell velocity. If the game crashes when it's running, would that make it easier to grab a screenshot? Let's see if was that a screenshot? It is, yes. All right. It grabbed my entire screen, but it'll do. Okay. That'll do for now. I do want to test some stuff though. And that is whether or not these actually set things on fire like they should. I hope they do. Actually, hang on. That was just a visual change. I don't think it actually gained the fire type. So this should be... This doesn't actually do anything besides visuals, right? Yeah. That doesn't do anything besides visuals. Self duck element or equals duck element masks dot fire. If I were to attempt to cast some fire with wind through this block. I'm going to spawn grass. Is that the right one? That's the short grass. I'm going to spawn grass. Like that. Actually, you know what? I have tiled. It's the easy way of doing this. Because then I can just copy and paste, because I have yet to implement a copy and paste function. Right. Tiled is going to have a moment. That pasted onto the wrong layer. There we go. Why does that layer keep unlocking? It's annoying. All right, now it should also have all the flammable grass data that it had before. Okay. This is now in the game. I don't know if that actually fired off before I finished saving. I am going to increase the range of the moths of the spells again, just in case it doesn't actually reach the other side. Okay, we've created some grass. We can set this grass on fire. Some interesting things you might note about, like when you burn grass in this game. Ow, thanks, Wizard Doggo. Oh, come on. No, 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 help. Alright, well, I'll have to try again. It marks you as hidden, even when you stand in it when it's burned. I should probably at some point take care of that, but what I want to know is why Wizard Doggo does that. What makes him detect me as... Oh, okay. I know why he's doing that. That's awkward. Something you need to know when you get your ass burned in this game. Oh, oof, gets burned. That's how this game's been going so far. Let's see if that... Okay, so it's cutting them down before it's setting them on fire. So just to test that... Spell reactions. I can just disable the part where the grass cuts down there. Where the grass gets cut down by the wind. And that will make for easier testing. A better test would be something like... Please don't set the bird on fire, Wizard Doggo. Thank you. A better test would be something... There we go again. Oh my god. I'm just gonna burn down this entire thing. Alright, there we go. It happens. Like if an NPC was standing behind it or something. Okay, so I did see it was igniting them briefly before just cutting them down anyway. Well, that's good enough for me because I know that it works. Mr. Quack Talk, we do need to talk about, I think, like whether or not all grass will get blown away, blown down, cut down, whatever by the wind spells, or if it will only do that sometimes and otherwise it might just catch fire. We can figure that out at some point. I can also discard these changes. I don't need them anymore. That was just a quick test. These are just a quick test. Yes. And I can get rid of all those. All right. What was the last one I committed? That was the same thing. Oh, that was visuals. It'd be a little weird committing the same thing twice. So I'm gonna restart GameMaker. I think I can like merge these two branches in at this point because everything I wanted to do on them currently is done. We are currently working on other like visual effects when stuff gets caught in the wind. Those things are not finished yet, so I don't think I'm going to be putting them in the game. It's a branch. Merge into. I know how Git works, I swear. And then we can merge that back into the development branch, I think. Because I'm pretty much done here. Alright, we can restart GameMaker. And bring it back. So what else should I do right now? I am just sending a message to Moonin asking him if it's okay to show some things on stream so far, or if you want to hold off on some specific things first. Greetings, Jellico, or Yellucko, or any of the other many ways that the J has been pronounced through linguistic history. Open that back up, move it back off to the side. I shouldn't have to reload this, should I GM edit, because it's the same thing as before. It's just the GameMaker can be occasionally weird when you're moving files around. Okay. It has been suggested that I work on the next part of Wind, which is pushing stuff around, which I think is fine. Let's see. So that's going to be, and we can hash this out in the chat, I guess, since Munin is here in the Quack Talk account. What objects can be pushed around? I don't want to make all objects push aroundable, obviously. I'm thinking just like NPCs and stuff. What happens if a fire spell and a wind spell collide? Probably nothing. Right now, anyway. Quack. Indeed. I've said I did not want to have like spells colliding in midair because that would be a mess. Both extra work for me and just a mess gameplay wise, but I also kind of want to do it for the exact same reasons. I guess I can start with NPCs. So NPC spell responses are a little bit more complicated. These guys can't move around. Test react on the spell event page. Let me move Discord off of my screen to make a little more space on here. Let me see spells, test react. And this is, okay, this is the generic NPCs don't like you casting spell on them thing. So right now, let's see. Right now, let me cast Wind on an NPC. We'll just do that first. It should, and I haven't tested this in a while because I haven't, so I don't know if it's actually going to behave or not. It should just do no damage to the NPC, come out of this output node on evaluate spell on the event graph, go to the filter, this is a wind spell, and just the NPC should just show this in a speech bubble over their head. Unless I made them... Did I make NPCs like default weak to everything? I did. Okay, so instead they're going to scream, actually. and they will rather adamantly ask you to stop. It would be a mess, but I also want to do it for the same reason. Please don't take that out of context. Oh, too late. You already took it out of context. Let's set you to wind and cast on the Helper Birdo. Okay, so one, I got set on fire. That was like, okay, so speaking of fire and wind spells colliding in midair, that is an example of one such interaction. Alright, so you're just going to express your displeasure at me for doing that. I don't think... Yeah, that's going to have no effect on you. I could cast fire on the Froggos, and they'd also have no effect. Interesting. Unless that's because they're like soaking wet or something, because they keep spitting out water. I forget. Are you weak to fire? I forget. Let's go look that up real quick. Froggo water is weak to fire. All right, you should have responded there. I don't want that. I want the speech bubble. Feel free to take this as far out of context as you would like. It might be that the frog was just wet and therefore was not able to catch fire, because immediately before I did that, he spat a glob of water and it landed one tile in front of him. And there is a weird like off by 0.25 error in in detecting what tiles you should like grab the attributes of in the game currently that I haven't bothered to fix yet. So sometimes things that are off to the south or east sides of where you're standing will affect you, even though it looks like they shouldn't. For example, if I stand on the edge of the bridge here, you shouldn't register that you're standing in water, but you do, and that might have been what was going on with this thing here. Alright, you guys can have fun with that. Nope. Was that... Did I forget to save? Oh, you know what? It's you took damage. So that's actually the wrong pin. Come on. On damage. There we go. Hang on, wait. I have a better idea, which is that NPCs shouldn't actually be weak to wind. Use the wet animation. I think I should. I don't know where those files went, because between the two of us, we have all kinds of fun making sure that we know where the art files are. At some point I will. One way or another, there needs to be a tell that an object is wet and therefore cannot be set on fire at the current moment. Let's see, you can do that. Stop blowing me. You can take that as far out of context as you want. I'm just going to drop that in the screenshot Discord. And you can do whatever you want with that on Duck Twitter. Aside from that, there should be a literally just search wit in the art folder because it's the only file with that name. Eventually. There's a couple ways I could do this. Let's get rid of that. Actually, I could have them like scream as they get pushed around also, but let's add a event node called I don't want that. Let's add an event node called wind knockback. And it's not actually going to do anything, but so if I just run this now, it's going to kind of like show me an error. It's not going to crash. It'll just inform me in the game, in the cutscene system, that wind knockback has not been defined. Greetings, LMR5 Productions. Here it is. And then the game will continue as normal. And then the next thing to do would be to implement that node. You are having fun with the dog. Unimplemented node type. And then you show the speech bubble. Where are the there are a lot of duck specific event nodes here. Alright, just because I can never remember where in the code this is defined. Here we go. Begin custom. This is the duck version. Wind knockback. These are not alphabetized, and they probably should be. And Munin is dealing with emergency web dev stuff. He will be back, probably, assuming I stream for more than, like, a short amount of time today. Alright, so this is like the default event node. So this is just what one might call a pass-through. In the land of shaders, it just takes the input and does nothing with it and carries on. I can't say a pass-through shader does nothing. It makes the output pixel exactly the same color as you would expect it to be, but this is going to crash the game. Okay, that's because this is the pass-through. Alright, instead of instead of doing something like getting one of the parameters in one of the event nodes, which would be like these things, it's not going to do anything because there are none. Oh no, web dev emergencies. I will try to pay attention to both that, just keep on top of what's going on and what I'm doing right now. Okay, so that did indeed basically ignore the wind knockback node. I really should have switched branches again when I started doing this. Begin wind knockback event node. Just so that I can make sure I know who everything is. We'll print their names out to the console first. Still listening, just not paying too much attention until you fix the CSS. Okay. A CSS emergency specifically. Let's... No valid... Oh, okay, that's an interesting thing that happens occasionally, is you can deselect spells entirely. So that's pawn and spell effect. Okay, so the spell effect is the invoker, as it should be. And this is an entity effect spell, which is most likely cast in a direction. And, okay, it's not cast in a direction, but it does have a speed vector, which I can use to obtain the direction from. Okay. Let's... target X. It's target X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z, right? Because that's like a relic from old Game Maker, when you couldn't like reuse X, Y, Z as variable names. Or you could, but it wouldn't really be a good thing. What was it? X speed, Y speed, Z speed. Oh, you know what? Since this is just like moving in the same direction. We don't actually need to do any like trig math. Sign invoker.x speed. And the same for the Y with the Y speed. I'll get rid of the printouts once I'm done. Why has my phone been going off this entire like time? Be quiet, phone. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll see that this should be all I need to do to like push you in a direction. Okay, great. Okay, then you run away. It's not a huge push. This is not an overpowering wind effect. This is like a knockback. Oops. I don't think you do not have the wind knockback event nodes implemented. Although I think, let me just check to see what your cutscene interaction is, what your spell interaction is. That is process spell event. Process spell response, which is this one. For wind, Okay, it doesn't do anything. I'm actually kind of glad this worked on the first try after I got rid of all the other issues. Like, I can just... Whoa! No, you're running away. Take that. Alright, this is actually kind of fun. Look at the cute duck run, yes. Alright. Moonin, if you're listening, another fan of your duck run animation. Oh, that's Kidit. Greetings, Kidit. Reading people's names. I do that once in a while. That is just the printout. Okay, I thought that was an error message. I can get rid of this. Kidin, Kidet, same thing. I think your avatar is actually a penguin. No, I don't want to do any of the mod actions that are like put this user in timeout. I want to view your avatar. Oh well, whatever. It's something like that. I can. Should I do like a safety check to see that this is actually only running on a penguin with a pumpkin head? That's almost a kitten, when you think about it. Should I do a safety check here to make sure that the thing that is invoking this event is actually a spell? A kitten with a pumpkin, a penguin with a pumpkin head is almost actually a duck. This is okay. I won't spill your secrets, I think. Unless I already did. If... I hate using instance of. Let me see if there's a way I can get around using instance of. Duck composite spell. That is only a property of events, of spells. Probably should what? Spill secrets? I could like throw on another property flag, but I don't really want to just for one specific instance. Alright, fine, we'll hardcode this. I'm allowed to hardcode stuff. Nobody's allowed to tell me otherwise. If... I don't like messing with strings. If this invoker, if this worked in pretty much any other way, I wouldn't mind using instance of, but since instance of returns a string, which is the name of the struct, I do not like that. It feels like it's one typographical error away from breaking everything. Anyway. Wind knockback cutscene events that knock things back. Shockingly. Before I do that though, the generic spell response. I can throw in an elemental filter. If anything happens that doesn't result in you dying. So, neutral hit, a damage, or a restoration. If we are dealing with wind knockback. So now the frog should be pushable. All other enemy things should be pushable. Crisis averted. Okay, good. I like it when crises are averted. I just attached the knockback effect from wind to the Froggo, so you should be able to push them around at least a little bit. It's one tile, and if they try to walk somewhere else, then they'll If they try to walk somewhere else, then it'll like interrupt it, but it should be able to affect the Froggos. No. Bonk. Bonk. Go over there, mister. You're not gonna move. I want to see what happens when I push you up against the tree. If you will like get shoved through the tree, or if you'll just stop like you should. I think you should. The spell knockback effect is, in the code, basically the same as running around. And you obviously can't run through solid things. Well, NPCs can run through you, which is a little weird, but that's for other reasons. Oh, I have 4 wind spells now. You go that way. You get out of my way. I forgot I put another one off in the middle of the ground. So far, this stream is going much better than the last one, and I feel kind of bad that more people were at the last one, which was mostly just a long session of all of a sudden everything's broken for like 2 straight hours. Alright, they've recharged. 1, 2. You are now pushed up against the treasure chest, and you cannot move through the treasure chest. Okay, I will see if I can, like, push you into that corner as well, but I think this should be doing what I want. This is great. I love it when stuff actually works. Unlike all the other times I stream game dev. So Moonin, we can talk about having, like, stronger wind spells later in the game that push things more than 1 tile. Or if you want, like, since the wind is supposed to be sort of a get-out-of-a-hairy situation spell, the base wind spell can actually push things more than 1 tile, if that would be a good idea. I'm going to leave it as it is for now until we work out the details. 1, 2, and you cannot go through the base of the tree. Excellent. Okay. Stuff works. I believe that was the first try. I think that was working on the first try. YouTube bugged and you began watching part of the stream from 20 minutes ago. Always fun. It can happen. Sometimes if YouTube has a lot of like hotkeys on it, so if you like push a key on the keyboard with the video player open, sometimes you will like jump to a random point because you hit a hotkey that YouTube thinks that you meant to do on purpose. The frog is so patient letting you push it around. I know, right? It's very considerate. How about if I... Okay, this is kind of important. It's not to do with wind, but it's been annoying me for a while, and that is the little issue with the, like, off by half a tile error. When you, oh god, what do I need? Duck. Update post. Update post duck, I think it is. Alright, this is where we evaluate the tiles. I think... I might have made this a little bit weird on purpose to account for slopes when I was working on that a little while ago. I don't know if I still need it to be a little weird on purpose. Let me comment out everything after this and just see if that fixes the little issue where like you're standing next to water and it says you're standing in water. Because slopes are no longer evaluated in here. And this is purely for like status detection. Alright, so I'm not standing in the grass. Now I'm standing in the grass and I'm shrouded. If I go onto the bridge, I'm not... Okay. I think all is well in the world. And there were other issues that came with that. For example, things like sometimes if you would stand next to fire in the wrong location, you would get burned even though it looked like you shouldn't be. Which is always annoying. The first 2 stages of this grass regrowing animation shows a reflection. That really annoys me. Like here, obviously it's fine. You should be able to see the reflection here, but when it's in the burn stage, it reflects just because nobody's telling it not to, and it really annoys me. I don't know if that's something I want to deal with now. We've discussed making a monk frog. This comment seems fitting. Unrelated, but the reflection in the water gives very big, relaxing vibes. I'm glad. I spent some time on the reflections when Moonin maybe preferred I would have been doing other things, and I like how it came out. Making the grass sprouts 2 planes. Yes, that's another thing I've considered. I don't know if I talked to you specifically about that. For anybody who's wondering what that means, if I can find an example, some objects, most objects in the world are actually just like planes in the ground, but some of them are multiples. Actually, you know what? I have this open. Some objects are multiple planes, which means that they have a little bit of depth and you can walk through them. And grass, the grass regrowing tiles may be a good thing to do that with. Trees, we've also definitely talked about doing that with trees because trees are kind of big and would be assumed to have branches, but we're keeping it simple for now. That is work that we will be doing later, I'm sure. Water is really pretty. I'm glad you think so. We had fun with it. The water texture itself is kind of generic, but graphics, what am I even looking for? That's not it. Water. It's kind of generic. It's got this thing on it for technical reasons. At some point, Moonin wants to make like real water tiles, and I keep saying eventually, but maybe we have other things to worry about right now. Right now, it's a little higher resolution than everything else, which is a little weird. Let's see, did I, that's right. I'm going to just, like, leave this entire thing commented out, just in case for any reason it needs to come back later. Close the game. Not what I need. Alright, fixing bugs. What do we do next? Muna, do you have the, I hope I can show Discord without, like, revealing too much. Do you have this thing? Do you want me to put it in the game, or are you still working on that? I can make things happen when a wind spell or other spells hit a solid object. Right now, everything has like an on death method event that fires off when the spell goes away. Nothing really interesting happens in any of them so far, but like if you want the fire spell to explode when it hits a wall, or if you want the wind spell to turn into this little tornado and scatter in random directions. You're still working on that. I guess I can describe this for testing. Alright, time to go dig through the shared file of search contact. Nope, Windows search, please. Oh, why is Windows Explorer so bad? So I'm going to just grab this little bit of programmer art. If I export this as a sprite sheet, can I export this as a sprite sheet without having to like copy it into its own thing in Sprite? If I save as PNG, hang on. Export sprite sheet by rows. Yeah, that looks good. If I do it by columns, would it be vertical? It would be vertical. This looks fine. This sprite sheet up here looks fine. I'm just looking through to see what the other options are and what they do in case I want to do this in the future. Ignore empty. I think I can guess what that does. Merge duplicates. I think I can guess what that does. All right. The export button is grayed out. Output file. Okay, yes. Let's see, don't save that if you're still working on it. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 frames of animation. Where did I put the other particle animations? Where's like, oh, I think I know. Okay, so fire and stuff is here. Let's give you that. That is just going to be... Why is it... I feel like it should show the bounds around the around the thing. Okay, whatever. Anyway. Each frame has an individual value. In a sprite, yes. That's another thing that I should do eventually is refine the animation speeds of things like this a little bit more than I have, but it's just... We can make the game without it. It would just make our lives a lot easier. So it's kind of been kicked down the road very far. The $sign in the name field is just there to indicate that I need to replace it eventually. Because programmer art. There are some other instances of that in here. Let's see. The next order of business would be to actually make it appear. To do that, we're going to be doing some 3D modeling shenanigans because that's the way I'm used to working. Let's see, that's fire. We can save this as something else. Elemental stuff. There's going to be 11 frames of this. Where did that file actually save to? 01R elements. Got it. Drago, Moonin. This is where everyone learns that I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, okay. Apparently, I am actually not in trouble, which is rare. We just hit 800 followers on Twitter, which is a number. Thank you. Let me try and, Okay, that's a number. Most of this is on Moonin, because he's the one who's been actually doing stuff on social media. I just like write absurd amounts of code, and some of it happens to look good on Screenshot Saturday. All right. Happy days. So many ducklings. Yes. I can apparently do this and pin a message to chat. Did that actually do anything? Okay, it did. Hooray! We are almost competent. Or at least we've tricked people into thinking we are. Oh god. Okay. Yes. I guess, just in case, I oughta... I ought to link that as well. Okay, happy stuff. Before I forget, this will make my life easier if I make this I'm going to edit this in Microsoft Paint. I'm going to resize this to 1024. Oh no, I don't want to stretch it. No, please don't stretch it. Huh, it didn't actually. All right, wait. 10. There we go. And magenta, actually, believe it or not, does make things easier because it makes it easier to identify transparent pixels. As absurd as that sounds. Magenta is actually indeed still useful for things. You could offer to help, but this is too entertaining. Yes. MS Paint is great. I've used it a couple of times for copying and pasting screenshots from like either the print screen key or the snipping tool or both. But if I was smart, I would have done this in Aseprite before exporting, but I forgot. Okay, that's good enough for now. No, don't load alpha channel. So this is going to get cut up into a couple pieces. The magenta will obviously be gone in the actual game, but I'm just going to slice this. The reason, by the way, I made it sound like I didn't know what I was doing earlier, but the reason that these are 3D objects instead of just sprites is because it does make it easier to do things such as the reflections that we were talking about not too long ago. And some other things, transforming them in different ways. What number is this? 4. I wish there was a way to automate this. I'm sure I could make a way to automate this, but I don't know if making a way to automate this would actually save time, since this doesn't really take that long. 7. There will be 10. Index from 0, 8, 9. Oops. Did not mean to hit the escape key. 10. Moonon, obviously this does mean that you can make this animation like as long as you want it to be within like the reasonable physical limitations of a computer. Just in case that's something you've been working with artistically. Did I? Elemental stuff. Okay. Model Creator for GameMaker likes to save stuff as D3D as GMod by default, and I don't like that because I don't like 5-letter file extensions for pretty much no reason. Greetings, Rodrigo. I believe that is Posho's icon, right? It says the green background and the guy with the mask. I'm used to seeing your name as Posho. If that's your real name, that's greetings. And if it's someone else just impersonating you, then I will let Posho know that someone is impersonating them. Alright, that was the most awkward thing I've ever said, and that's saying something. Speaking is not something I'm good at. So these are in a... Really? These are supposed to... I should probably set it so that when you drag a 3D object into here, or any file, it automatically alphabetizes. So instead, I'm just going to do it one by one. 2, 3, 4, 5. After this, I'll see about alphabetizing it. 8, 9, 10. Okay. Okay, yeah, okay, Posha. Nobody's impersonating you. That's good. Unless you actually are, and that's just what you want me to think. My head hurts. Firstly, save just in case there's a bug and this blows up in my face. Secondly, no, thank you, actually. Oh, that's something I should deal with eventually. It imports into 2 different places at once, even though it really shouldn't. Exactly what an impersonator would say. Not that I'd know, of course. So the, okay. There's no way to, like, step through the animation. I have not added a way to preview the animation in here yet. Have I? No, I haven't. I should at some point, but again, priorities. Let's actually change this image and go with a new one. Alright, that didn't change anything but the dimensions of the image, which helps because powers of 2, and making sure that nothing's extraordinarily weird. I don't think textures have to be a power of 2 size when you load them from a sprite sheet or something, but it definitely helps. Alright, let's see. So first I'm just going to plop one of those down in the world. And then we'll see about spawning one when the wind hits the end of the line. So we can set that speed to like 1. Oh no, wait, hang on. There's one thing I have to do, and that is not mark you as static. So now there's just going to be a little tornado flying around. And it's not going to have collision or anything, it's just going to sort of sit there. Alright, you will tell Posha that you're worried. Okay. I can't believe I've gone off on this, like, stupid tangent for this long. Unknown object.moving not set before reading it. Okay, love me some dynamically typed programming language shenanigans. No idea what's causing that, but that's code, that's not data. No idea what's causing that, but will it help if I just like make you an NPC? I should look into that later. Replicating that issue might be a little weird though, depending on what's causing it. Put the Wizarducks website in the stream description. Is it? I thought I put it there. Maybe I just oh, I only put the Twitter there. Okay. Yeah, good idea. Let me put the Wizarducks website in the stream description. The same thing just happened, by the way, so that was not the solution nor the problem. Alright. That is now in the stream description. This error is still here. Who is trying to walk random for one? Sharknado, yes. That's clearly what's happening here. We can have fun with this. Instance of is a great function when it comes to debugging. It's just not something I really like using in actual game logic. Ducknado. Contact wind is indeed breaking things. One, I don't know why you are trying to walk. Moonin, your tornado is trying to get up and walk around, and I don't know why. Which is a little concerning. Oh, that's like the default AI, isn't it? Be free as the wind. Okay. Yes, that actually makes sense. I'm actually surprised this hasn't come back to bite me, like, earlier than this. The default... Wait, no, I don't have to... Very windy places. It happens. The default AI is walking around random. It should not be. Oh, cool. GMedit will show you the enum value if you mouse over them. Yeah, having things AI default to walking around randomly will cause all sorts of problems. So instead, I'm just going to make that undefined. If you set AI to undefined, hang on. Is there an extra curly brace somewhere? Kind of is. I hope this doesn't cause more problems than it solves. What is the default? What is the default data that these things get? Duck default overworld mob, which is currently default NPC. Okay, so that's not actually going to solve any of our problems. Yeah, it's funny you say that, and that's exactly what it would have done if I actually tried to run the game. Famous last words. I have a lot of last words. Well, that's better than it was before. Yeah, this isn't actually going to help, but this should ward off potential future issues when this data is not here for other reasons. So there's that. Let's just grab that. For now, just to show that this is working, since this is temporary anyway, we can just not run that at all. And the tornado will be there is the point, which is what I wanted to do like 10 minutes ago. See, this is what happens when I say, okay, Munin, let me just grab a screenshot real quick after I fix this bug, and then 3 hours later I come back and say, I didn't actually get the screenshot, but I did all this other cool stuff. I see this is animating at 1... It looks like 1 frame per second. It's also very small, wow. Okay. Your transform scale is going to be 2. Now let's make it like 4. Ooh, okay. That's a bug. Involved in string parsing. Let's try that again without mistyping anything. Such a tiny tornado. We've got very localized weather in this game world. The weather systems aren't very big. They're very confined to a specific 1 by 1 by 1 tile area. A tornadoling, yes. It's like a duckling, but for tornadoes. Is this running? I hit the run button, didn't I? Okay, it's just recompiling every single shader in the program because reasons that I do not understand. We gonna open? Normally, Game Maker will cache stuff in the background so you can run it over and over and it won't like have to rebuild the entire project from scratch, and it saves a lot of time. It is not doing that right now. I don't know why I didn't change anything regarding this. Anyway, the tornadoling is here, and that's okay. You have... That's not what you're supposed to look like, but nice try. Did I actually... Okay, good. You do have that at least. And as I was doing before, it'll look better in the game, I hope. Let's also run that at 4 frames per second. I want only 1 square area of snow. Me too. Up here in the Northeast, there has been a good 2 feet of snow on the ground for almost a month now, and I'm pretty done with it. Let me turn that off. Let me restart the game. And let's see if this is a more ferocious looking tornado. I'm just gonna delete it after this anyway, one way or the other. And then yeah, there we go. Why are you concerned about this? There's a tornado like right behind you. I feel like you should be more concerned about that. Alright, that did not have to do with running into the tornado. That had to do with running into the moths. I will GIF this. I don't know if this is going on Twitter or not, but I think this is just going to be a fun thing to have. Alright, let's have it loop correctly. Proto-tornado. Let's see. I will drop that in the screenshots area real fast. What's today's date? February 12th. That's almost today's date. That's not the one that I was looking for. This is the one that I was looking for. Okay. Yeah, that'll do. We have not yet added bees. Oh, bees. Oh, the I assume you mean the things that I ran into. This is, I just ran into it. That's a moth. That's your mana power. So there's fire, there's wind, and then there are some other types elsewhere. This guy's shooting water at you in moth form. That's what those are. Oh, apparently I burned down a nice field. That's cool. Only you can prevent forest fires, kids. Okay, anyway, we can where is the actual tornado data living? I think I deleted the right one. Okay. Anyway, it works. The next order of business is to spawn one of those. Should we tell him it's the 21st and not the 12th? Look, palindromic numbers. They happen. I don't need that. That's just there because I was doing things that I should not have been with a tornado. More wonderful out of context sounding statements. I am looking for... Oh, the thing with the date on the folder, that's because that's when I started working on this particular part of the game. That's not what I'm looking for. It's 2/21 because that's when I started doing wind things, which is 9 days ago, and I actually haven't really done a whole lot since then, but I'm doing it now, so that'll do. As you can see, this is not every day. So January 23rd was the Trees and Reflections Day, and that was a lot of this stuff. Since Wizduck is a duck, does water hurt? Nope. The Froggos will, like, make you do the hit freeze thing when you get hit, though, because it's kind of a surprise. At least that's what we're doing now. I don't know if it's going to stay that way. And I see we are instantly in opposition here. Okay, maybe we should figure that out at some point. I have player weaknesses. I have fire, thunder, earth, wind, and physical damage. Physical element as doing damage to the player, and absorbing would be water. Right now, as you can see, it wouldn't be immensely difficult to change this. I would just move the water from the absorb list to the weak list, but we can work that out. I like the idea of the duck not taking damage from water, though, for the obvious reasons. Although, possibly, like, if there's enough of it, you might expect to take damage anyway. What was I doing this before this? Spawning stuff. So, each of the spells... each of the spells is going to want to have, like, a thing that it could do when it stops, like, on death. We have a lot of water in the game. If we needed balance, that could be an option. I've sort of had it in my head that water is going to be like the safe area. Because you can go there, you can swim, you can flee if you have to, and maybe not all monsters can. Some things can, like the frogs can probably swim, at least a little bit, but not all. Let me just go and not open that, actually. Let me go and toss another property onto composite spells. Which is going to be Death Effect, which is going to be... I might just make it like an enumerated switch type. I don't know if I feel like scripting the tornadoes in the game editor versus in the actual game code. Or what it could be just a 3D object. So for example, composite spells, wind, when they hit something, it'll just spawn one of these guys. That'll do for now. Yes, please. Need to load that out of the data file. It is death effect, right? Yes. And we need to know what we're doing with that. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun. Actually, I will ask Munin if it is okay to bring this up first. Anyway, data is a lot of fun, I think. Maybe a little bit more than is good for me sometimes. So the spells just have a thing that a model that they will spawn when they hit something. I'm gonna run the game just to make sure that I didn't break something and blow it up. The game loads. Okay, so adding another piece of data to the format did not break anything, which is good, as it shouldn't. This is another semi-annoying visual issue. I don't know if anyone's noticing the little, like, 1 pixel line that occasionally flashes across the screen. To make a long story short, off by 1 errors in textures are a lot of fun. By that I mean they're not any fun at all. I have some ideas about what to do about that, but yet another thing that I have not had enough time to sit down and do yet. Alright, now I have to actually do something there. Does on death take any parameters? Should it take any parameters? It does not. I'm just gonna print out something to the console to make sure it's there. Okay. I've been streaming for 1 hour 45 minutes. I'm probably gonna go like 10 more minutes because I dinner things. But this was fairly productive. Let's cast a spell. And that did indeed fire when the spell ended. Munin, real quick. Do you want the little tornadoes to show up only when you cast at a tree or some other solid object, or do you want it to like fire off at any point when the spell ends? Like it goes for, it was going for 10 tiles. It really only should go for, I think I had it at 4 earlier because that's the size of the screen. At least vertically. But yeah, at any point when the spell ends, should it fire off a tornado or should it just be when it hits something? It's a specifically contact animation. Okay. Reflection moths. So I will have to add a little bit more data so that the game knows when the on-death is fired, why it's being fired. You can make a fade animation. I can do that through code. I can have them like transparent fizzle when it's done. If you want to draw an animation like having them like the big moths shrink or something, we can do that too. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. Maybe later, like as a final game polish thing. Where am I going? On death is being invoked here. Destroy effect. UNKNOWN timeout contact. You don't mind playing with it when you get to particles. Okay, just don't make it a priority because I would say other things in the game need more attention. It's one of the many things that like would be fun to have, but it won't really affect the final game in a major way. What was the other one? Timeout is when it just expires when the spell dies in midair. Contact will be when it hits something. Are there any other things? That could just be a general if something else removes it from the game reason. Add parry to the... Okay, that's an interesting idea. If something could deflect a spell. I don't think that would fire this code because this is for when the spell is removed from the game. But there could be like another method that runs like when it changes course or something. We must discuss this later. Did not want to do that. Destroy effect on death. Take a reason. What else? That's a similar one. All these phone, shut up. It would have helped if I'd like defined this earlier, but hopefully this should not break too much going forward. That's fine. Actually, got to make sure that that is defined before invoking it. Last one here. Okay. This should at least run. It won't do anything because nothing is done with this. Destroy effect is called from destroy, which is called from... There's going to be a lot of these because other things have a destroy method as well. But in effect, I believe in update base is where this is this is done. Okay, let me just run this to make sure it doesn't break. There are other places where that might be called, but I will get to those when I get to those. Alright, yeah, alright, that didn't break. So this is where it starts, and there could be a couple of reasons why alive is set to false. I can invert this. And so instead of marking things as still alive or not, we can say we can give them a reason for being killed. That one can be unknown. This one could be timeout. This one would be as well, even though it's not actually time. This would be... Oh, out of bounds would be another one. Like that. And then it just returns the same data. You accidentally paused the stream and thought Drago was just thinking really hard about hitting a wall. Sometimes that happens. But usually when that would happen, if I'm typing, it would be... You would hear a lot of keyboard typing. Anyway. Update effect. No? Oh, it's just update. Hang on, that's not gonna help. There's still too many of those. Match case, whole word only. And there's still a lot of them, but entity duck effect components is not one of these. Entity effects. That's fine. This is not killing anything. This is also not killing anything. This feels really redundant. I'm just looking for situations where... Other situations where, Okay, the spell bomb. Oh no, that's not killing it either. Spell bombs are fun. They're not in the current state of the demo, but they're a lot of fun. Just in case you ever wanted to do a lot of destruction at one time. This would be... Okay. That would be a situation where the killed reason would be passed in. By the way, did I actually, I did not actually do this. Alright. We need to actually pass the killed reason to the destroy method. This one. Okay. That should be good. The game should still run, still nothing different should happen. It's not like imperative that that data is now used by everywhere where an effect is removed from the game, but it helps. Yeah, we can still do all this. We can still cast fire into trees and have exactly nothing happen. It helps because then we can figure out like why the effect was removed and act accordingly. Objects such as like NPCs and stuff have a similar code which runs. There is a spell event. There's also a death event somewhere, which might be part of the spell event. This is the spell event override for specific instances of enemies and stuff. That's a similar part of code, just in a different place. If I find it, process spell responses. Here it is on death in the spell response evaluate spell node. Do we still want enemies to spawn moths when they die, Moonin? Because I kind of feel like you want to control the number of moths in the game at a time. I need to go eat dinner starting like soon, but not quite, but could work for frogs. Okay, we can do that for frogs. I'm going to end this here a little abruptly. I need to go eat. I will probably live stream game dev again in a week or so, next Saturday, Sunday or something. I will announce it on my YouTube channel thing. Thank you all for dropping by. I hope this has been fun. This was a lot more productive than last time. Why would you kill the innocent frogs? Well, they're trying to kill you. It was all a big misunderstanding. Stream endings. Yes. This was fun. All of the duck memes. Goodbye.